to the Prep Pursuit. I'm Deborah Walton, a modern etiquette, image, and style expert. My firm, the Poise Pursuit, serves busy professionals around the world helping to elevate their companies, careers, and lifestyles. To learn more about my services, please visit thepoisepursuit.com. Today's video is about how to avoid being a gossip, a person that is known for always talking about everyone else and in their business. Gossip is simply when you are speaking your opinion. You're not really talking about the facts. You're more focused on how you feel about a matter, and it's really something that is better left unsaid. Now, of course, I understand you probably have to get out your personal feelings, but that's something you can do either in journaling, a diary, or just sharing with your spouse, someone that's outside of the office that you don't normally see at work, because that makes things very uncomfortable and it happens to be very unprofessional. So I'm going to share with you a couple of tips today about how to avoid gossiping at the office. The first tip for avoiding gossiping at work is to leave. If you're in a break room or if you're in an area that you're just kind of hanging out and everyone's there in one space just having light conversation, you always have the option to leave that vicinity. Now, if you're in a meeting and it's before, after, or during the meeting, which is awfully absurd, but it probably does happen, you can't necessarily just leave the meeting, so you're kind of stuck. But if you happen to be in a place like a break room, near the water cooler, or just hanging out at someone's desk, you can always leave that environment. So if a conversation comes up, here's a great example. Robert, let's say, is one of your coworkers and he took the day off, kind of just in a short amount of time, so he didn't book it and tell everyone at the office 2 months in advance. So let's say, one person, Frank, decides to share that he thinks that Robert is faking sick or playing hooky or doing whatever he's doing. He's living his life. But, for you to stay and share your opinion on what you think, first of all, it doesn't affect you. So really and truly, it doesn't matter. Second of all, it's none of your business. If someone decides to take off work at the last minute, we have no idea what their personal issue could be that they're handling. And as long as their manager knows, they're fine. So it's really not your place to get involved. So that's a great example of a situation. Once the conversation starts to happen, other people are sharing their thoughts and their opinions. It's a great time to just, walk away, go to the bathroom, go back to your desk, go back to work, because you're there at the office to work anyway. You're not there to gossip. So that's a great example of a way that you can avoid gossiping, is to just leave the environment when it's appropriate. Another strategy you could use to avoid gossiping about others is to just not add anything to the conversation. Maybe you're in a group with 2 or 3 or more other people. If they want to talk and share their opinions on a particular matter, you can just not add anything. You don't have to share your opinion. And if someone asks you, you could just say, I'm really not sure, I don't know, or I don't care to make a comment. What you want to happen is that you don't get involved, because it's, again, really not something that you want to do. It's not a positive way to communicate with your coworkers. So it's just something you can avoid entirely by just not adding your 2 cents. A third strategy for avoiding gossip is to try and change the subject. Now, this works exceptionally well if you're talking to just one other person in a one-on-one conversation. So, for example, if you happen to be talking to Bianca, and Bianca is, mentioning she overheard so-and-so broke up, and the long story about why they broke up with their boyfriend. Instead of continuing that conversation or continuing to listen to Bianca talk about someone else and their personal romantic relationships, you can change the subject. You can ask her about her weekend, her past weekend, how it went, her upcoming weekend, does she have plans? Especially if you will mention something that's relevant to her. People love to talk about themselves, so give her that opportunity. Bianca, girl, I love that sweater. Where did you get it? Or, I really like that new fragrance you've been wearing. I'm thinking about some new perfumes for myself. Do you have any recommendations? Give her an opportunity to talk about herself and not talk about others. That's another really great strategy, and it works exceptionally well, I promise, especially if you're talking to just one person. So Another way to avoid gossiping is to just change the subject. Let's not talk about someone else that's not around. Let's talk about you. Or let's talk about something that's more productive, like our work. Go figure. How about that? My last recommendation to you about how to avoid gossiping about others is to state something positive about the person. Let's say you're in a conversation, things have already started flowing, and you can always say something positive about something completely different. Like, wow, Matthew did a great job on that presentation last week to the VPs. Or, Sabrina did a really amazing job of helping me with my proposal for a client. And if you ever have any questions, she's got really great writing skills. If you are able to reposition the conversation from being negative about someone else, you can talk positively about that person. We all could use a little bit more motivation and inspiration to encourage each other in this world. So that's another great way to avoid gossiping at work. Now, if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining and watching this video. I so appreciate your attention, and I would love for you to stick around. Subscribe and you'll always get an update when I've got something new to share. I post new videos every week, and you will always be in the know when I've got a new one coming out. Now, thank you for this time. I appreciate you watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Bye for now.